Assalamualaikum and greetings to everyone. We are from Group 6. Today we will be presenting on the rising cost of living in Malaysia and its impact on employees and organizations. In 2026, the cost of living in Malaysia has become a main concern for many households, especially among the B40 and M40 income groups. Many Malaysians are finding it increasingly difficult to maintain the standard of living because the prices of essential goods and services continue to rise. The cost of basic necessities such as food, housing, transportation, healthcare, and utilities has increased significantly over the past few years. There are several factors contributing to this issue. First and foremost, global inflation and supply chain disruptions since the COVID-19 pandemic have caused prices of goods to increase worldwide. Secondly, international conflicts such as the Russian-Ukraine war have affected global food and fuel supplies. In addition, the depreciation of the Malaysian ringgit has made import goods more expensive. Another important factor is the reduction of government subsidies on fuel and certain food items. Although Malaysia has experienced some positive economic development, such as lower inflation rates and a stronger ringgit compared to the previous year, many people continue to face financial challenges. This is because the prices of goods and services remain high, while salary growth has not been sufficient to keep up with these increases. Next, I'll talk about the problem statement and objective. The rising cost of living has also created challenges in the workplace. As living expenses increase, employees expect better salaries, allowance, and benefits. However, many organizations have not revised their compensation structures to match the current economic situation. Because of this, employees often feel that their income is no longer enough to cover their daily needs. This financial stress can negatively impact employees' well-being, motivation, and overall job satisfaction. Some employees may even need to take on additional work or accumulate debt in order to support their families. At the same time, organizations are facing difficulties in attracting and retaining talented employees. Therefore, this study has several objectives. First, it aims to identify the main factors contributing to the rising cost of living in Malaysia. Secondly, it seeks to analyze how rising living costs affect employees' productivity, moral performance, and retention. Third, it aims to evaluate different strategies that organizations can implement to improve compensation and benefits. Finally, the study will provide recommendations to help organizations develop fair and competitive compensation packages that can support employees while maintaining the organizational performance.
The definition of cost of living based on Kamus Dewan Bahasa is defined as the absolute monetary value required, such as food, clothing, shelter, and healthcare, to maintain basic physical survival. Next, the KWSP Belajaranku framework shift focus from survival to social participation, defining the cost of living as the minimum expenditure required to live an active, decent, and meaningful life. Next, Bernegara and University Malaya said financial commitments broaden the definition to include fixed model financial obligation, recognizing the vehicle loans, housing loans, and other core household expenses are essential to standard preservation. The factor that contributing to rising cost of living is first the post-pandemic scars. The pandemic forced the workspace shutdowns, causing severe business losses and permanent retail closures. Personal cash reserves were rapidly depleted, removing essential buffers that protect the household. Depleted savings left middle class and lower income families dangerously exposed to any future financial shocks. Next, global geopolitical shocks. International conflict, especially hostilities threatening trade pathway like the Strait of Hormuz, send massive waves through Malaysia's local economy, with 20% of global oil and LNG transiting this single choke point. Fuel price fluctuation directly sparked domestic import inflation, hitting the household heavily. On employee well-being, the threat of wage and inflation, when domestic commodity price inflation outpaces business salary increases, employees see a rapid decline in real financial security. Then the struggle to survive began to happen. To bridge the gap in purchasing power, professionals are resorting to moonlighting, working secondary hailing, or online freelance job during evenings and weekends, such as foodpanda or Grab driver. Moreover, when there is rising cost of living, there is shifting employee expectation, such as dynamic salary increments. Stagnant wage scale that ignore inflation are no longer accepted. Employees expected updates directly indexed to rising living costs. Failure to modify salary growth formula degrades baseline buying power, leading to immediate corporate dissatisfaction.
There are few challenges faced by employees and employers. The first one is the financial stress among employees. The rising cost of living increases financial stress among employees. As the price of goods and services continue to rise, many employees find it difficult to manage their monthly expenses. The situation becomes even more challenging when companies reduce salaries or limit salary increases. This reduces employees' purchasing power, making it harder for them to afford essential expenses such as household bills, house rent, transportation costs, or even the daily necessities. The second one is retention and talent attraction issues. Rising cost of living can create retention and talent attraction issues for organizations. Employees who feel that their income is no longer sufficient may start looking for jobs that offer better salary and benefit. This leads to a higher employee turnover, which means more workers leaving the company. At the same time, organizations may find it difficult to attract skilled and qualified talent because job seekers are more likely to choose employers that provide competitive compensation package. Limited career growth opportunity can also encourage employees to leave and seek for better opportunities elsewhere. Another challenge faced by employees and employers is decreased job satisfaction and productivity. When employees experience salary reduction or feel that their wages do not keep up with the living expenses, their morale and motivation may decline. They may feel less valued by the organization. In addition, financial worries can distract employees from their work responsibilities. Instead of focusing fully on their tasks, they may spend time worrying about personal financial problems. As a result, job satisfaction decreases and productivity may also decline. And lastly, the rising operational costs for employees. As living expenses rise, employees often expect higher wage to maintain their standard of living. This is increased labor costs for organization. Furthermore, when employees leave, companies must spend additional money on recruitment, hiring, and even training a new staff. To attract and retain employees, organizations may also need to provide extra benefits such as transportation allowance, medical coverage, and meal subsidies. Therefore, the rising cost of living creates additional financial pressure not only for employees but also for employers.
Strategy to improve compensation and benefits. They have four types of strategy. The first one is salary adjustment and cost of living allowance, COLA. Cost of living increases every year due to factors such as inflation. One strategy to solve this issue is salary adjustment and cost of living allowance. This helps people maintain purchasing power and support economic growth in budget 2025. Malaysia minimum wage increases from 1,500 to 1,700 ringgit starting February 2025. Salary adjustment give people better opportunities to improve their quality of life. Allowance help employees manage living expenses, especially in urban areas with higher costs. This support allows employees to reduce living costs and build emergency saving. The second strategy is flexible benefits. Employees can choose and customize benefits based on their own needs. Organizations provide several options and employees select the most suitable benefits. Examples include healthcare, childcare, transportation, and additional annual leave. This approach recognizes that employees have different lifestyle and prioritize. Flexible benefits can improve employee recruitment and retention. It also increases employee satisfaction because employees feel valued and supported. This strategy benefits both employee and organization. Another strategy to improve compensation and benefits is through non-monetary benefits such as work-life balance. Work-life balance ensures employees can balance work responsibilities and personal life. It helps reduce stress and improve productivity, creativity, and employee well-being. Overworking may lead to problems such as stress, depression, hypertension, and sleep disorder. Organizations should set suitable working hours and provide rest time while respecting employees' personal time. Employees should also use leisure time for hobbies and self-care to reduce stress. Work flexibility allows employees to decide when, where, and how they work. In Malaysia, some public personnel are allowed hybrid work or work from home depending on circumstances. The last strategy is health and wellness benefits. It is very important to ensure employees' well-being. Poor health conditions may increase stress and risk for illness in the workplace. Providing health and wellness support can help reduce mental health issues among employees. Some companies in Malaysia provide wellness programs for employees. These programs include health screenings, counseling, fitness or exercise classes, and diet education. Wellness programs help reduce stress and improve employee productivity. It also increases employee engagement and long-term commitment to the organization. Therefore, both employees and organizations benefit from implementing health and wellness programs.
Let's move to recommendation for organization. First up is regular review of compensation structures. How companies should regularly review and adjust their salaries structures. First, the core rule when setting salaries, companies must hit two targets, which is internal equity and external competitiveness, which is internal equity, meaning pay must be fair based on workload, and meanwhile, external competitiveness, meaning pay must match market rates so top talent one jump ship. Second one is the inflation problem. With the rising cost of living, fixed salaries was their value so fast. What used to be comfortable middle class wage can quickly turn into a struggle level salary. Next, stop guessing raises. If someone's workload increases, especially after company downsizing, HR shouldn't just guess the raise. They should use job analysis method like workloads to properly recalculate what that expenditure role is actually worth. For example, let's look at the Malaysian government's transition from the legacy SSM system to the new SSPA, Sistem Sara and Perkhidmatan Awam. They introduced these wage adjustments of 7% to 15%, purposely tilting the higher percentage increases towards the lower income supports group kumpulan pelaksana to help them cope with city inflation. One is the danger of guessing. When executives just guess what staff want, they waste budget on things nobody cares about, like food and adventure, while employees are actually stressed about childcare and medical bills. Next is the HR's manager through role. HR acts as an external consultant or advisor who listens to ground level system needs and aligns company policies with human needs. Meaning of the cafeteria system, instead of rigid one-size-fits-all perks, companies should run anonymous financial cost surveys to find actual pain points. Then, the rollout of cafeteria style benefits menu where employees the annual points to spend on perks that fit their current life stage. For example, Unilever Malaysia successfully used localized health surveys to build flexible benefit menus. They allow employees to trade traditional corporate perks for personalized utilities, subsidies, or family care provisions, which successfully lowered the voluntary resignation rates. Moving on to government and policy support. This is this about covers how much companies work with government regulation and tax incentive to optimize their compensation budget. Working within the law, HR system doesn't exist in a vacuum. Smart companies actively leverage national tax agencies and state legislation to maximize rewards. Next, tax exempt percentage. SR can restructure pay components to include specific outdated allowance for things like petrol, tolls, parking, or home internet, which are on the inland review board (HDN) tax exempt list. For the double benefit, this increases the employee's net take-home pay because it not taxes, while simultaneously saving the company money because they don't have to pay extra EPF and social contribution on those specific allowance. For the real-world example, to accumulations projective wage policy (PWP), under this voluntary framework, private companies get financial incentive from the government to help offset wage increments for local workers earning below 5,000 ringgit. The catch is in exchange for this government funding, HR departments must enroll these workers in at least 21 hours of certified skill training annually, which upgrades the company's productivity and help the nation. And finally, how do we support workers when the company is down? When money is tight, you can't just inflate basic salaries without risking company bankruptcy. HR have to find cost natural solution. The first one is hybrid work, a free rise, which is mean allowing staff to work from home 2 to 3 days a week as a tax-free indirect wage supplement. It instantly cut out their daily costs for fuel, toll, parking, and expensive urban lunch. It, it costs the company RM0 on payroll, but saves the employee tons of money. And for variable pay, focus on performance-driven pay structures like short-term performance bonuses or productivity payouts. These ensure payroll expansions only happen when the company brings in the fresh revenue. For example, many domestic corporations and shared services hubs across the Klang Valley have adapted EWA apps like Paywatch or Harigasi alongside hybrid work models. These provide a fast financial safety net for vulnerable tires without messing up the firm's baseline salary sheets. To conclude, modern compensation is not just about handing out monthly paychecks. It's about being strategic, fair, and adapting to real-world economic pressures. That's all from me.
So, for conclusion, the rising cost of living in Malaysia has become a major challenge for both employee and employer. Employees face increasing financial pressure as the price of essential goods and services continue to rise. Therefore, organizations need to implement effective compensation strategies such as salary adjustment, cost of living allowance, flexible benefits, work-life balance initiative, and help and witness support. Regular compensation review and employee feedback are also important to ensure that employee needs are met. By providing fair and competitive compensation, organization can improve employee satisfaction and productivity and retention. So that's all from us. Thank you.